Hey, what's up, everybody? We got some fun, interesting stories for you all today. Appreciate you guys taking just a couple of seconds out of your day and just hitting a like button. It supports the channel greatly. All right, let's get started. This one's titled, I accidentally robbed a bank and I still have the money. As the title says, one day I went to the bank to withdraw $2,000. I inserted my debit card and the teller gave me the money. Once I got home, I saw that my card was never charged. So I looked at the receipt and the card number on the receipt was different than my card number. So I'm assuming the teller accidentally took the money from the person that was in front of me. Anyways, that was 1 year ago and I still haven't heard anything about it. And I'm still holding on this money. I'm not sure what to do. So I'm kind of curious, what would you guys do? Would you guys keep the money? Take it back to bank and explain the situation? Let me know in the comments section below. Our next story is titled, Can't Expense My Bike Rides Home? Okay then, I'll just take expensive Ubers instead. I recently started a new job, and one of the perks is that if you work late, you can have a free dinner and then take an Uber back home. However, I much prefer renting an electronic bike home. You know, the ones on the sidewalk? It's much faster and much better for the environment. I have a great time and a lot of fun with it. It's a good way for me to decompress after a long day of work. After a month of that, I sent in my expense report, but they refused to pay me back for the bike rides. They said I need to use Uber instead. I was very annoyed by this if it was more than 100 euros. So I decided to use Uber for the following month and made sure I chose the most expensive executive option each time. The very next month, my late night rides expense increased by more than 5 times what my electric bike cost. Needless to say, they strongly encouraged me to get back on the bike and offered to buy me a subscription if it's available. I think they learned their lesson.
Our next story titled, I don't want her to ring me up. Okay. When I was in high school, I worked at my local Gamestop, and this is my favorite story. The MC is minor, but I thought the situation was quite funny and absurd. I worked at a very small store in a wealthy town with a bunch of suburban Karens. So outside of the holidays, we typically had about 2 people on shift. My manager was super chill, about a 25-year-old stoner, skate punk who didn't give a shit as long as you got your work done and hit your targets. I was able to read, do homework, and play games behind the counter when there was nothing else to do, and the dress code was minimally enforced. So, one day I was working with a manager behind the counter wearing jeans, a black collared shirt, and my typical Hot Topic mall goth makeup and pentagram necklace. It was a slow day, and the manager was doing inventory on one of the 2 registers while I worked on the never-ending task of alphabetizing game cartridges behind the counter. Mom came in. She was about 40. So she walks up to the counter to buy an Xbox 360 controller for her son. I brushed myself off from alphabetizing and greeted her with a smile at register number 2. Me. Hi, I can ring you up right here. Mom said very snappily, by the way. I'll wait. The manager and I exchanged a confused glance. My manager. Is there a reason why she can't help you? I'm in the middle of doing inventory, so it's going to be a while before I'm available. The mother, looking at the manager. I don't like her necklace. It's satanic. I looked at the manager in shocked surprise. Then just slowly lowered myself back behind the counter and continued alphabetizing while trying to stifle my laughter. So we complied with her request and let her wait about 10 minutes for our manager to finish up, lest our Xbox controller get cursed by my evil 17-year-old goth fingers. After she left, my manager said to me, her kids probably play fucking Call of Duty with that controller too.
Our next story, titled, Customer Didn't Want to Spend Money on Oil. This happened about over 15 years ago. My father owned a successful body shop and had always several customers waiting in line. He made sure every customer felt appreciated and always did a little extra stuff that he thought might seem out of place for the vehicle. One time, we had a customer who brought in a car. It was an early 90s Buick, if I remember. We had done something small to it. It was like a single day job or so. Our shop manager at the time noticed his engine was making a slight knocking noise and checked the oil. It ended up needing 2 quarts to show up on the dipstick. Anyway, he added the oil and the knocking stopped and the engine smoothed out. I know this is not a permanent fix, but many people who drive like this have no idea that their engine's condition. We added the oil to the bill and we only charged $5 for this fix. The guy was furious about the extra money even after we explained to him that his engine was knocking. He demanded that we take it off the bill and remove the oil. So we wanted to make our customer happy, so we removed the oil from the bill and told him he could keep the extra oil. He got even more angry and demanded that we remove the oil regardless. We drive it back to our shop, on a lift, removed the oil and showed him that it was removed. He tells us that we're trying to nickel and dime him, etc. and etc. So he finally left. He started his car, his engine proceeded to knock. He pulls out of the driveway and it gives a little more gas than it needs, and about half a mile down the road, his engine dies. So let me know what you guys think about this in comments. For our last story today, it's titled, Human Resources Always Only Want Smart People Who Can Work Here. I work for a small company and we have a one-man HR department. We often get all sorts of memo detailing policies that sounds good on paper, but they are never practical in real life. I feel pretty confident to say that this HR person got his education on either YouTube or Reddit. Recently, HR implemented a new standardized test for screening new candidates, which scores candidates on their skills in mathematics, language, logic, and a bunch of industry-specific questions. The idea is to weed out those who present well on paper and in person, but in fact can't do the most basic stuff. While this could be an excellent idea to weed out the morons that keep walking through the door, HR thought it's an excellent idea to make everyone, including those who have been working there for years, to do it as well. HR gave metrics for where scores should range for new candidates and sent us a link to complete the test, and requested that we were to complete them by Friday. As we all know, HR don't do things just for employee files. We suspect that they're trying to get rid of crucial people who are not great with computers, not as fast on calculators, but these people are the beating souls of the workplace. Everyone at the office pretty much boycotted the test. When the HR pressured the CEO to threaten our bonuses, we begrudgingly complied. HR wants to score us based on arbitrary standards tests as benchmarks. Sure, so we spent the next 3 days after hours working on the test together, one test at a time. At the end, we all scored 9 out of 10 in every category because we got some pretty bright people helping us all out. And guess what? We forced HR to do the exact same test, and they scored 5 for math, 4 for logic. So, guess who's on the chopping blocks now? Hope you enjoyed all the stories we shared with you today. If you have any stories to share on your own, feel free to let me know in the comments section below. Appreciate all the subscribe and the likes, and I'll see you guys next time. Check out all the other stories we have on the channel as well.